Are you tired of feeling frustrated and disappointed when you realize you've ruined your favorite food by storing it in the fridge? Do you worry about food poisoning from spoiled food? Have you ever felt guilty about wasting money on groceries that went bad because of improper storage? Do you dread the inconvenience of having to make an extra trip to the store to replace what's gone bad? You're not alone. We understand the pain of a spoiled meal and the hassle of reorganizing your fridge. That's why we're here to help you store your food with confidence and keep your fridge fresh and organized. Say goodbye to spoiled food and hello to peace of mind with our expert storage tips and tricks. When it comes to storing food, the refrigerator is often the go-to place. However, not all foods benefit from refrigeration. In fact, some foods can actually spoil faster or lose their flavor and texture when kept in the fridge. In this video, we'll explore the foods that should never be kept in the fridge. 13. Potatoes. Potatoes are a staple food in many households, but they require careful storage to maintain their flavor and texture. Refrigeration can cause potatoes to undergo a process called cold-induced sweetening, where the starches in the potatoes convert to sugars. This can make the potatoes taste sweet and unappetizing. Additionally, the cold temperature can cause potatoes to become dehydrated, leading to a dry and unpleasant texture. Instead of refrigerating potatoes, store them in a cool, dark place with good ventilation. This can be a paper bag, a breathable container, or even a cardboard box. Make sure the potatoes are not exposed to direct sunlight, as this can cause them to become green and toxic. And ensure good air circulation to prevent moisture buildup. 12. Onions. Onions are another food that doesn't belong in the fridge. The cold temperature can cause onions to become soggy and develop off flavors. Onions need air circulation to stay fresh, so store them in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. You can store onions in a paper bag, a mesh bag, or even a wire basket. Make sure the storage area is well ventilated and dry, as excess moisture can cause onions to rot. 11. Garlic. Like onions, garlic should not be refrigerated. The cold temperature can cause garlic to sprout and lose its flavor. Store garlic in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. Some additional tips for storing potatoes, onions, and garlic include: handle these foods gently to avoid bruising or damaging the skin. Store them away from strong-smelling foods, as they can absorb odors easily. Use them within a few weeks of purchase for optimal flavor and texture. By storing potatoes, onions, and garlic in a cool, dry place with good ventilation, you can help preserve their natural flavor and texture, making them perfect for your favorite recipes. 10. Coffee. Coffee beans and ground coffee should not be stored in the fridge. The moisture in the fridge can cause coffee to absorb odors and flavors from other foods, leading to a stale and unpleasant taste. Instead, store coffee in an airtight container in a cool, dark place. 9. Bread. Bread should not be stored in the fridge, as the cold temperature can cause it to dry out and become stale faster. Instead, store bread at room temperature in a paper bag, or wrap it in a cloth to keep it fresh. 8. Bananas. Bananas should not be refrigerated, as the cold temperature can cause them to become overripe and develop brown spots. Store bananas at room temperature, away from direct sunlight. 7. Winter squash. Winter squash, such as acorn squash and butternut squash, should not be stored in the fridge. The cold temperature can cause the squash to become watery and lose its flavor. Instead, store winter squash in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. 6. Olive oil. Olive oil should not be stored in the fridge, as the cold temperature can cause it to become cloudy and develop off flavors. Instead, store olive oil in a cool, dark place away from direct sunlight. 5. Salt. Salt should not be stored in the fridge, as the moisture in the fridge can cause it to absorb odors and flavors from other foods. Instead, store salt in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. 4. Cucumbers. Cucumbers are highly sensitive to temperature and humidity changes, so they should not be stored in the fridge. The cold temperature can cause cucumbers to become soggy and develop off flavors. 3. Tomatoes. Tomatoes should not be stored in the fridge, as the cold temperature can cause them to lose their flavor and texture. Instead, store tomatoes at room temperature, away from direct sunlight. 2. Peppers. Peppers, like cucumbers, are highly sensitive to temperature and humidity changes, so they should not be stored in the fridge. 1. Eggplant. Eggplant is a warm-season crop. When stored in the refrigerator, the cold temperature can cause eggplant to become bitter and develop off flavors. This is because the cold temperature can break down the cell walls of the eggplant, releasing enzymes that can lead to a bitter taste. Additionally, refrigeration can cause eggplant to lose its natural moisture, leading to a dry and spongy texture. This can make it more prone to absorbing flavors and odors from other foods, which can further affect its taste and aroma. Some tips for storing eggplant include: handle eggplant gently to avoid bruising or damaging the skin. Keep eggplant away from direct sunlight, as it can cause it to become overripe and bitter. Use eggplant within a few days of purchase for optimal flavor and texture. By storing eggplant at room temperature and away from direct sunlight, you can help preserve its natural flavor and texture, making it perfect for your favorite recipes. Here are some extra tips when storing food in the fridge. 1. Label and date leftovers. Use labels and dates to keep track of how long leftovers have been stored. 2. Store raw meat and fish separately. Prevent cross-contamination by storing raw meat and fish in separate containers. 3. Keep frequently used items front and center. Store frequently used items in easy-to-reach locations. 4. Utilize vertical space. Maximize storage by using stackable containers and baskets. 5. Store food in airtight containers. Prevent moisture and air from spoiling food by using airtight containers. 6. Keep the fridge clean. Regularly clean up spills and wipe down shelves to prevent bacterial growth. 7. Don't overcrowd. Leave space between containers for air circulation and easy access. Subscribe now to get health updates. While the refrigerator is a great place to store many foods, there are some foods that should never be kept in the fridge. By storing these foods in the right conditions, you can help preserve their flavor, texture, and nutritional value. If you found this video helpful, subscribe now. Watch this video next for more health-related videos.